E.G., and this is Mythological Theology. This week, we'll be talking about one of my favorite mythological creatures, the Manticore.
Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this beast, but for those of you who haven't, the Manticore is a Persian monster with the body of a lion, the tail of a scorpion, and the sassy good looks to star in the next supernatural teen romance.
You're not like other boys at generic high school.
You shouldn't be here. It's not safe.
I don't care. Your indifference and caustic attitude makes me extremely attracted to you, even though I know you're probably some horrible mythological creature.
You don't understand. It's almost nighttime. I won't be able to control myself.
Yes, when I'm around you, I can't control myself either.
Run, you bad idiot! Run!
Basically, the Manticore is a more dangerous, more poisonous version of its cousin, the Sphinx. In fact, in some stories, they even share the Sphinx's love of riddles. But one thing's for certain, they're not the sort of creature you want to run into when you're looking particularly tasty. But how does the Manticore relate to theology?
Well, in the Middle Ages, it was considered a symbol of the prophet Jeremiah, because both of them spent a lot of time in holes in the ground. Tenuous, I know. What, are carrots a symbol for Jeremiah too?
I think we can do better. In fact, I believe the Manticore is a perfect metaphor for mortal sin. Now see, I come to this because there's three main parts to mortal sin, just as there's three parts to a Manticore. Well, technically there's more than three parts to a Manticore, but we're just not going to deal with them here. There's no time for viscera in theology. Anyways.
For something to be a mortal sin, first, the sin has to be really, really serious. It has to be so grave a matter that it is toxic to the soul of the person committing it. Although little sins, like littering and cussing a minor swear or two, can add up to a lot of damage, we still recognize these as venial. But sins like murder and armed robbery don't just hurt the victims of the crime. They also burn into the core of the person, twisting them. If left unchecked, such sins can cause a paralysis of the moral compass and even a death of virtue.
Just like the Manticore's spiky poison tail, mortal sin causes a great deal of damage, both immediately and through the long term. Now, the second component of mortal sin is that it requires knowledge of the fact that it is a grave matter.
If a person somehow wasn't aware, for instance, that lighting a pony on fire was a morally evil action because all they wanted was a real-life ponyta, they would still have committed a grave matter. But they might not be held as spiritually responsible as someone who just loves the sweet, sweet sound of pony screams.
Because mortal sin requires a significant level of knowledge and the intellectual capacity to understand morality, the Manticore's human head is a perfect example of this. Third, and frankly most importantly, in order for a sin to be a mortal sin, it has to be committed willingly by that person. They can't be coerced into doing it. It has to be a free choice.
For instance, if someone was blackmailed into committing adultery, we would hold that person less culpable than the one who did the threatening. It wasn't their fault, they were made to do it.
The Manticore's strong lion body is a perfect representation of the fact that mortal sin has to be committed under a person's own power. After all, when's the last time you saw anyone try to bully a lion into doing something? So there you have it. I hope you learned something new today, and even if you didn't, I hope you had a good time. I know I did.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing so that I can get more content to you. See you later!